Hey, welcome to JD's Corner. I'm JD, and this is my corner. Today I want to teach you a very important strategy. I think personally this is probably in my top 3 of all the things that I will teach you, of all the things that I have implemented for myself. And this is just how to purge nervous energy, how to get rid of this increasing mounting nervous energy that is just making you more and more anxious. How do we get rid of that so that we're okay? In another video, I'm going to explain in more detail what I call a stress threshold. But to give you just an analogy so you understand what we're doing here, imagine that you are a pot, okay? You are a big pot, and that pot is full of water about 1/4 of the way. So you have a big pot, and about 1/4 of the way is full of water. Now what happens if that water boils? If you start to boil that water, you're not going to be worried that it's going to overflow and make a mess. You're not worried that it's going to pour out all over, because the ratio of the walls of the pot, the length of the pot, to the amount of water, it's good. You're all right. There's enough wiggle room. There's enough space in there, so it's not going to overwhelm you. Now, what happens if you keep adding water to that pot and you keep boiling the water? Well, as you increase the water, the gap between the pot and the water closes, and pretty soon you will overflow and make a mess, and the water will pour out all over the place. Well, this is very similar to our stress threshold. We have a threshold, we have a distance between ourselves and the amount of stress that we can handle and not really be troubled by. And if we're experiencing stressful situations infrequently, once in a while, a little bit of nervous energy, you're okay. Your body can process that. It's not going to bother you. I mean, the same adrenaline of a panic attack and the way your body reacts is quite literally the very same adrenaline, cortisol release, and the way your body behaves when you're on a roller coaster. And so sometimes the stuff that we look forward to, it's a good stress, it is very similar actually, physically, physiologically, to the bad stress. The body's responding the same way, but once in a while, no problem. What starts to happen is the more stress we experience consecutively, the more we have this nervous energy build up within us, the less threshold we have. And then if someone comes and adds just a little bit of water, where before a little bit of water to that pot, there's so much room, not a problem. But now a little bit of water is enough to bring you to a tipping point. And so our stress threshold is the same way, where before there are things that wouldn't even faze you. Now it's possible that your stress threshold is so narrow, so thin, that things that used to not trouble you before could quite literally be a tipping point for you now and overwhelm you. And I want you to hear me. It's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken in any way. It's simply about rebuilding that stress threshold and learning to purge some of the nervous energy we accumulate throughout the day so that it doesn't overwhelm us. And so this tip, it's so easy. It's just about learning to purge some of that nervous energy. I encourage you to do this. When I first discovered this and I was first implementing this strategy, I would do it maybe 10 times a day, and I found it very helpful. You should feel some purging of that nervous energy. Of course, there's more to this conversation, what we're focusing our thoughts on, and understanding the difference between the nervous system and activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and we'll talk about that later. That'll be another video, that'll be for information. But right now, if you've clicked this, probably it's because you want help purging nervous energy, just so you can function, just so you can think clearly, just so you can breathe. So here's what the strategy is. It's so simple, and yet it's very effective. And I'll explain the science of it another time. But right now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about 2 ways that you breathe, right? You breathe in and you breathe out. It's not very complicated. But here's how I want you to breathe, because how we breathe matters. And there are different ways of breathing to accomplish different things. Yes, ultimately, all breathing is about putting air in your lungs so that you can live, but the way in which we go about it can have helpful effects on our body and on our stress level. And so I want you to breathe in, and when you breathe in, you're going to breathe in to the slow, gentle count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. But as you breathe in, I want you, for starters, to either sit or lie down. Standing is not the best. If you have no choice, fine. I would rather you sit or lie down somewhere comfortably. And you're going to breathe into the count of 4, but I want you to fill your chest as much as possible. Even lifting your chest, even lifting your shoulders. Don't hyperventilate. Don't make yourself pass out, but fill it in. So you're not breathing with your belly. You're breathing in with your chest, and you're raising your shoulders as you breathe into the count of 4. And then you're going to hold for 4 seconds. So in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. And then when you exhale, I want you to breathe out as if though you're trying to blow fog or steam onto a glass. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I'm from Canada. When it gets cold here, you love to see your breath. And if you exhale, not with a closed mouth, but like you're literally trying to see your breath, or you're trying to steam up a glass, I want you to exhale that way. And you're going to do that for between 4 to 6 seconds, depending on how long you can make it. The key is to maintain a consistent pressure. So consistent, release, slow, and control. So again, it's in for 4 seconds, lifting the chest and the shoulders, holding for 4 seconds, letting the breath stay there, and then exhaling consistently with the same pressure as we release all the air, trying to empty the lungs as much as possible. When you breathe in, you're trying to fill them as much as possible, and when you breathe out, you're trying to empty them as much as possible. Okay? So we're going to try that together just twice, and then we're going to make one last variation. Okay? So let's go together. In for 4, hold for 4, out for between 4 to 6, whatever you're comfortable with. Ready? Here. So for me, it's 6 seconds on the exhale is what's most comfortable for me. Okay, so let's do that again. In for 4, hold for 4, and out for 6. Ready? That's great. And I'm sure if you do that already, you start to feel it. It's pretty good. It's pretty effective. So the only thing we're going to add is mental. You're already doing the physical well. Good job. Now the only thing we're going to add to that is how we think. And so while you're breathing in, I want you to actually think about you accumulating all of that nervous energy, all of that stress, and you're bringing it into your chest. I want you to visualize that you are bringing in all of that stress, that anxiety, that nervous energy, all of that. And then when you exhale, I want you to actually think that it's all leaving, that you're just purging all of it. You'd be surprised how powerful the mind is, because remember, anxiety is mostly mental. It's what we think affects how we feel. And so the reverse of that is also true. If I start to think of myself as removing and releasing all of that nervous energy and anxiety, it will have an impact on my body physiologically. So as we breathe in for 4, we think we're bringing in, gathering all of the stress, all of that energy. And as we exhale for 6, consistently with that sustained, we're also imagining all of that anxiety leaving us. So we'll do that one time, and then I encourage you to do that at home. I like to do 3 in a row. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6, 3 in a row. And I like to do that anytime I start to feel a little bit of nervous energy, maybe several times throughout the day. I just teach myself to do it, and it's building that threshold again, so we're no longer so easy to feel overwhelmed. Okay, so here we go, collecting the energy, all that nervous energy, all of that anxiety, and then getting it completely out of our system. And together, let's do it, okay? Here we go. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel great. I love doing it. It's something that I have seen be very effective in my life, and just do it. If you need to do it more than 3 times, do it 6 times. Just do it, and every time as you do it, feel all of that tension and all of that nervous energy just start to evaporate and leave you, and you will find yourself naturally calmer, slower, speaking softer, thinking less hurriedly. These are all good things. And so this is one of my top 3 best all-time strategies for purging nervous energy, building up our anxiety or stress threshold, and ensuring that we don't get tipped over or boiled over by anything we're currently experiencing. Well, I hope that's helpful. I hope that that is something that you will implement and see great benefits from. Again, why don't you let me know what you thought? Leave me a comment. Tell me, did it help? Is it something that you now utilize a lot? And share it with others. And as always, it helps the channel a lot if you would like and subscribe if you find the content beneficial. All right, I look forward to us chatting yet again with the next strategies to come in the following videos. Take care.